There she
Hi,
is.
hi, how are you?
Oh, it's very well. It's always such a relief when it works. Very,
You know
very
what?
nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I just feel I'm so technologically challenged sometimes that I didn't know what to do. This is my first request to be on a live. So thank you for having me. I'm glad we made it.
We made it.
Yeah.
Now, I am thrilled that we have managed to overcome technology. And today, I am so happy to welcome the fantastic Maria Hatzistefanis. Have I got it
Yes.
right? I also have
Correct.
I
Yes.
have a bad surname that nobody ever gets right. Who is the founder and CEO of the skincare brand Redial, which she founded in 1999, and she is now growing a global beauty empire. So she's very much an Albright woman. She has 3 different brands that are sold across 20,000 doors in 35 countries worldwide. She started her career as a beauty writer before moving to New York, where she completed an MBA at Columbia Business School, and after a stint in corporate finance at various investment banks in New York and London, she pivoted, which is going to be a topic for discussion today, to follow her passion for beauty by founding Rodial. She's written 2 books, the first of which was called How to Be an Overnight Success, which she published in 2017, and her second book, which I have here, published earlier this year, called Making It Happen, spells out how to motivate yourself, something that we all need right now, and how to harness your drive and your ambition to make things happen. Now, before we kick off, some very quick housekeeping. Some of you have already pre-submitted questions. Thank you. Do submit them as we go, and we'll try and get through them all. And I'm really looking forward to finding out more. Now, Maria, first question, how is your lockdown? Where are you locked down? Tell us all about it.
Yeah. So I'm in London. I'm in Notting Hill. I
Round the corner from me.
What's that?
Round the corner from me.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, so I'm here, I'm local, I'm self-isolating with my husband. I have 2 boys, I have 2 teenagers. So, yeah, so we're all here self-isolating, and it's, yeah, it's interesting being all together at home all day. So, but we found a new normal. We found a way of operating, and yeah, it works, and we got used to it. So, all good. So far, so good.
And how is business, and how are you running your business from your home?
Yeah, well, that was an interesting one because with my business, we were all based in the office, and the
Yeah.
office is the hub of everything that is going on. So when I first heard that we were going to go in a lockdown situation and we couldn't be at the office, I freaked out, and I didn't know how I would be able to pull this together, because in my mind, working from home, it was someone wasn't feeling well and would take a day off and watch Netflix all day and then respond to the occasional email. So I said, are we going to do this? But you know, very quickly, within probably 3 days, everyone was set up with laptops from home. And we started a schedule of calls, talking to every department, Zooms. And I have to say, within a week, we all found our flow.
Yeah.
And now it's working. It couldn't work any better. And I can't even think how we're going to go back to the office.
Well, how are we all going back? How is that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was actually talking to one of my my PR manager yesterday, and we were saying that, and I said it took us a couple of months to be where we are today, and I feel it will take us a couple of months to get back into normal again. It's psychologically, you can't go from full lockdown to being normal again in 24 hours. So I think it's going to be a process, but yeah, we'll take it as it comes, and we'll adjust to whatever the new normal is.
And are you in a routine during lockdown? Everybody, we're doing these every day, and our members in our community want to know, how is it? What do you do? Talk us through it.
Well, I'm a big fan of waking up early, and actually one of the chapters of my book is called Your 6 a.m. Call to Success. So I've always woken up really early to do my meditation and get inspired and set my intention for the day. And when we went into lockdown, I thought, well, will I still want to do that? Because I'm not going to the office. But you know what? Now more than ever, I need to wake up and set my intention for the day, because the days can go all different directions. So I need to know what is it that I want to achieve. And it could be something sort of coming up with a new product for the business, or it could be on a weekend, I want to clean out a drawer. You know, that is an intention. That's something that I want to do and I want to achieve. So it's very important for me to have, even if it's a small thing, a purpose to make me feel useful for the day.
And do you write it down, or is it just verbalized? What do you do? What's your process?
Usually for work, if I have a lot of different ideas, I would write them down during the week. So as I go through my calls, I discuss them with my teams. But on the weekend, cleaning a drawer, that's probably just
You've got that
in my head. Yeah, I've got that covered. Yeah.
Now talk to me a bit about the book. And how on earth could you write a second? Anna and I wrote a book last year called Believe, Build, Become, and the thought of doing a second makes me feel ill. So it's a bit like having a second child. So talk a little bit about this and your first book and the sort of progression between the two of them.
Yeah. So the first book, How to Be an Overnight Success, it was all about taking through new entrepreneurs during the different steps of thinking of starting a business, to how do you start it, how do you get funding or not, challenges that you may come across, and taking it to the next level. So it's a manual to start a business and using some of my own personal experiences. So after I've written the book, I was getting a lot of feedback on Instagram. As you know, I'm on the Mrs. Rodial account, and a lot of people who read the book were going through some of the elements that they thought I should have covered in the first book, and they were missing. So after I got a little bit of feedback, well, you should have written about, give us a guide on how to motivate ourselves when we're not feeling motivated, or how do you combine the personal and professional life. And there were a few elements that I didn't cover in the first book. So I felt there was enough material that I put it together, and I came up with a second book. And it's worked fine. I think the first book was quite a lot of work. The second, I knew the process, so it took me a little bit it was a little bit faster to put together.
Okay, that because we wrote ours quickly, but we wrote it together, and that's actually quite a hard thing to do.
Wow. Okay.
And what we ended up doing, because at the same time we're running the business and raising capital, was we did alternate chapters. And actually, I think that worked pretty well in terms of getting it done, but also because what we were trying to do was combine two different perspectives and two different tones of voice. For you and your business, you're the boss. And obviously, you know, we're all only as good as the team that we have around us. But talk to me about that a bit. Is it lonely? How does it feel, it just being you?
Well, at the beginning, when I started the business, which everything was from the back room at home, and it was me and a part-time accountant who would come and see me once every couple of weeks. It was very lonely at the beginning. Now it's a little bit better because I have a team, so I can bounce off ideas with them. But the key thing about being an entrepreneur, and you guys, I'm sure you know that, it's that at the end of the day, all the important decisions have to go through you. And sometimes mentally that is a lot. And, you know, you can't delegate, and you can get your teams to support you, but at the end of the day, you need to know everything and you need to be on top of things. So that's kind of the key thing. I don't think it's lonely right now, but it can be a lot of pressure mentally to make those decisions.
I always feel it's a bit like a dance, and the dance is giving away control and taking back control. and you never quite get it exactly right when you're scaling.
And it depends what's going on in the business. There may be a department it's flying and the team is perfect, and another department that needs your attention. And sometimes what we say is, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's like putting out fires, but you don't know where the next fire is going to come up. So you're getting ready and dealing with it.
My business partner, AJ, calls it whack-a-mole, which is a sort of 80s UK reference for a children's game where every time you hit something on the head, something up is coming, you know, something else is coming up. So I totally recognize that. In your first book, you talk about lots of different things that have happened to you, as well as advice for other budding entrepreneurs, and you talk about getting fired. Reflect on that a little bit, and what that's like, and perhaps a bit on failure, and the importance of having failures and dealing with failure as a woman.
Yeah. So just to give a little bit of background in case we have people here who don't know my story. So I was always passionate about fashion and beauty. My first job while I was at uni was a beauty writer for 17 magazine. I did that for a little bit. Then I was really curious about business. So I studied business and I ended up in banking of all places. At the beginning, I was excited. There was a lot of adrenaline, doing deals and all that. But very quickly, I realized my passion wasn't there. So I started slacking off, sort of showing up late, leaving early, not working weekends. And then one day I was called into the boardroom and I got fired. And you know what? I was devastated, but I knew deep down that I was fired for a reason. I was not passionate for this job. I wasn't giving it my all. And I was devastated because I was really young. But that was the shock that I needed to get me thinking, what is my passion? What is that I want to do with my life? Where do I see myself? And it was scary and it was hard, sort of going through months without any income. But it's what I needed to shake me up. And then I decided to be an entrepreneur and start my own business.
So what tips, tricks, sort of coping mechanisms can you share with our community who's listening about dealing with life when things go wrong, or dealing with failure, or dealing with adversity?
Yeah. This is something I analyze in my book a lot, and I break it down in 3 different steps. The first step of any failure or any shock, it's the denial. So at the beginning, we're all in denial. You know, how can this happen to me? How could they fire me? Unacceptable. I'm the best. You know, you create stories in your head. So the first step is denial. And for me, it's very important to go through the first step and feel the feelings, and not try to suppress it, and not try to immediately seem that you're happy, because you're not happy. You're going through all sorts of feelings. So denial, and this can take for a few days to, I don't know, it depends on everyone and how they process their feelings. The second step is acceptance. So, okay, this happened to me. I'm accepting it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've accepted this is a situation I have to deal with right now. It's a very important step. And you go through that. And then for me, the most exciting step is the next step, which is the evolution. So you've accepted what happened, and what is it that you can learn from that? What is it that you can change? What is it that you can adjust so you can move to the next chapter in your life, whatever that is? And I find that some of the best and most creative decisions I have made in my life have come from failures, from shocks, from unexpected situations. And obviously no one wants to be shocked or disappointed or fail, but these are for me, these are the key elements to make you progress and find what is your calling in life. And yeah, 3 steps for me.
And just relate that a little bit to the pandemic crisis that we're in at the moment. So Albright commissioned some research from our community, which we published yesterday, that shows that women's jobs and careers are going to be the hardest hit. 40% of women in the UK who work are part-time. And in addition to that, we, not in every household, but in a lot of households, the average is that we have twice as much of the mental load, i.e. responsibility for household chores, children, homeschooling, as I am, 3 of them in the house at the moment, God knows what they're doing, the men. And what our community fed back is, whilst all of that is extremely challenging, and I think we're trying to do a lot of talking to women who are worried about work, worried about money, worried about jobs, who are running businesses that they're worried about, who are furloughed, as a lot of our community is, trying to give them really practical tips. But also what was really interesting was that 60% of the women that we spoke to said that they're looking to pivot in their careers after the pandemic. So with all of your experience, your positivity, you've sort of seen it all. Give us a reflection on that and what this means for women, and how the women listening can use this time to come out fighting, if you like.
Yeah, well, it's looking at what industries are exploding right now, because while we have certain industries such as retail, where we are part of, that are suffering massively, the hospitality industry, the travel industry, they're suffering. People are losing their jobs, they're being furloughed. On the same token, there's a lot of other industries that are booming right now. So look at Amazon. Look at the likes of Deliveroo. Look at the likes of the courier companies. They're just technology companies, Zoom, and not only. So for me, it's looking at what are the industries right now that are booming. And let's say you're a marketing person. If you can do marketing for a retail company, you can pivot and do marketing for a tech company, or do marketing for Deliveroo, or just find the industry. So for me, there are a lot of jobs that are being created right now, but we need to be more open to the new industries and start exploring and start learning new skills. I mean, even myself, obviously I've been doing this for a long time, so I have to say that I'm very technologically challenged. I can't even set up my iPhone. You know, I could barely join you that live today.
We did it.
We did it. Yeah, high five. But once we started working from home and not have to deal with the retailers and the wholesale teams and all that, the first thing I learned is I went into Google Analytics for the first time and just started learning how does that work. Then I went and I learned a few other software packages, and I feel that I've used this time to really dig a little bit deeper into technology.
Yeah.
And so I sat down and discussed with an expert about Facebook advertising and how does that work. And I went in and sort of learned a little bit. And I have gone to the bare bones of, as if I'm just starting in this industry, what is it that I need to learn? And I find that in this day and age, there's just so much material out there, whether you go on YouTube or the Google University, as I call it, you Google everything. I mean, the other day I got a new camera. I wanted to film a few bits and pieces. So here I am on YouTube, how to set your camera, how to move the files, how to edit. I mean, I'm not a designer, but I feel that there's just so many skills that you need in this day and age. And I feel that everyone who has a little bit of time, for a whole number of reasons, I think this is the time to go and research and educate yourself. But just sitting down and saying, oh, I've lost my job, you know, poor me, I'm the victim, that doesn't work. And you just have to pivot, and you have to be open to opportunities. And there are a lot of opportunities out there. You just have to have an open mind.
And you once said, when I was doing my research for this interview, if you can deal with the worst case scenario, then it's worth the risk. Talk to us about that a little bit, and what you meant by that, and how we listening to this can take that mentality and apply it.
Yeah, well, a few times throughout the many years that I've been running the business, we've been very tight with cash. And actually my first book starts with a very challenging situation that we had a couple of years ago, that we almost went bankrupt. And it's sort of not paying attention to the cash flow, and then overexposing ourselves and buying more than we can pay. And I just feel that anything that comes our way, as humans, we have the strength to get over it, and we have the strength to deal with it. And I've went through tough times with money in the business quite a few times now. This is not the first recession I'm going through. I also went through the recession of 2008. And I've been through this so many times that I know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. but you just have to hang in there. You cannot give up. You need to take it a day at a time, and you need to work with small goals, small daily goals, achieve them and move on. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it all throughout all those years, and whatever level of success you have, you are never there and you're never safe. And one day you may be, oh my God, you know, I'm doing great and my products are selling, everything is going well, my teams are amazing. And then the next day, boom, like you don't have money to pay your suppliers, you know, and shit happens like that. So I think that, you know, it's times like this are great to prepare us mentally to deal with any situation. And I mean, do I see the positive in everything every day? Absolutely not. Some days I'm more positive than others, but I think resilience is a very important skill that it's worth, it's worth having.
How do we learn it? How do we cultivate resilience and inner strength?
I mean, times like this, if we can all survive times like this, and the reality is sales are down everywhere, you know, companies, everyone is in the same boat, more or less. If we can become creative, and if we can pivot, if we can find the strength and find people around us that we can draw strength from and give that strength back. I mean, even when I'm speaking with my teams, there's days that I'm full of energy and I give them energy, and days that I have zero energy and I'm calling them and like, okay, and they bring me that energy. So kind of works in different ways, but at the end I feel that it works out. Be surrounded with the right people. I think that's very important.
At Albright, we talk about how sisterhood works. We have it written in neon in the entrance halls to all of our buildings. So talk a little bit about your sisterhood and the people that you have around you. They don't have to be women, but just who is the support crew that's there for you, and how does that work?
Yeah, well, most of my team is actually women, just because we are in the beauty industry, so it naturally attracts more women. And I spend so much time at work. There's team members that have been with me for 7-8 years that we've become very close. We've had trips together, we've gone through ups and downs together, and we do draw a lot of energy between ourselves. And sisterhood for me is just women supporting women in any capacity. And I'm just really lucky to have a great group of women around me at work.
And outside of work, who's in the squad?
I mean, there's not much happening outside work, to be honest
outside
with you.
of this room?
Not much is happening. I mean, it's actually something that I cover in my book, that when you have a very demanding job and then you have a family as well, there's just no time for anything else. So I've sacrificed my social life years ago, and it is what it is. So it's my work, my team, and my family, and that's about it.
So when we all get out of here, what are the first things that you're going to do?
I really need to go to the hair salon and deal with my roots and have a haircut. And you know, I've been doing I've been doing manicures. I've never had a manicure. You know, I would always go and treat myself. So I am missing those moments of treating myself to a beauty service. So yeah, I'd love to, firstly get my roots in my hair.
So if you're going to leave the women of Albright with 3 different bits of advice for now and for always, what would they be?
Okay. So the first one is read up. So always, even if it's reading a page from a book, a page from an article, 5 minutes from a YouTube tutorial on a new skill that you want to learn, always read and always keep yourself ahead of the game when it comes to education. The second is dress up. And especially in those times, I feel that we're all staying at home and you could be in your pajamas all day and not having any hair or makeup done and feel sorry about yourself. I think put some effort on, just make yourself feel good, and then that will project confidence, and then your day will go better. And my third tip is never give up. And as I say in my book, Overnight Success, you will not be an overnight success. It takes a lot of time. But if you never give up, you will be successful and you will get there.
I love it. Now, given that we've got you, as well as your inspirational tips for all of us, what should we be doing with this?
I think the key thing, and what we, the previous recession, I don't know, years ago, the red lipsticks went up in sales. So now it's not about the red lipsticks, but I have a product here which this sold out last week.
Come on. Yeah.
It's all about the concealers, because we're all on screens, on Zoom. So this is the Banana Lowlighter. This has become a cult product at Rodial, and it's a product that you use under your eyes on any areas that have shadows, and it brings the light up, and it's lit from within. So it's a big time for concealers right now. Just get the right concealer, and it makes a huge difference on how you look on screen.
Okay, I need some of that. And skincare, the bit that sits underneath, the one we're not.
Yeah, skincare, it's all about masks. And obviously we don't have access to any of our facials or any treatments that a lot of people are doing. So it's all about masking. So today I had the Pink Diamond lifting mask earlier to just give me a little lift. I do eye masks almost every day, and I feel there's just such a great variety of masks in the market these days that you can use them while you're working, while you're at home. So masking and a concealer are my two tips.
Okay. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to make a note of that. Thank you so much to everybody for listening. Now, have a lovely bank holiday. So weird. Bank holiday on a Friday and it's tomorrow. What does that even mean? I don't know. Yeah. My kids have conned me into going for a very long bike ride. But what I do know is no Instagram lives from us on Bank Holiday Friday, I'm afraid. But next week, we will be back. Anna will be speaking to the fantastic Nimco Ali. And I am extremely excited to be chatting to Ruby Wax. Head over to albrightconnect.com for more information. If you miss any of these events, more for you, and you like what we've got lined up during the week, then be sure to check out our IGTV and also our digital community. We have launched our digital membership yesterday, which is our version of our Albright physical clubs, but bringing together all of this content, upskilling, education, sisterhood matching networks online. So go check that out. And thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Maria, thank you so much.
Thanks, Debbie.
I'll be doing that now. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.